Okay, here we are at Ed Thurman's promotion party, or promotion ceremony. Ed and one of his other friends are getting promoted today, or I don't know, and apparently it's sort of a his and hers. The crew that, Ranger buddies of Ed's. Gary Worsing's down. Gary is looking great. Gary's down to the University of Washington. There's PMS&T up there.
And his harem.
Yeah, you got it? Okay, go ahead.
Hello there. How are you? How are you? What a way to spend your day out of school. Oh, you got out of school. Well, you don't mind. You got out of school. So you could be shopping or something. Well, Ed, you and Glenn want to come on up here and we'll put him in the middle, put you over on the other side, and I got the message. I signed it. I put out the word this morning. I wasn't going to promote you till we got the message out. Well, as many of you have heard me say before, these ceremonies always come as rather anticlimactically, because the Army system now, we get on the promotion list and we tend to stay there for a long, long time. Why don't you all sit down? And I'm not sure how long Ed's been on the list, but I know it's been a considerable period of time. He's been reminding me of that for quite some time. I've been reminding him that people can always be taken off lists. It's actually consummated. But it truly is, for me anyway, it's a great day to be in the Army when I have the opportunity to participate in a ceremony such as this. Now I have to share with all of you that Ed has a number of mentors, of which I'm not really one of his mentors. I'm more like a tormentor. And have been for quite some time now. There are a lot of other people that have had great impact on Ed's life that I know he wishes were here today, and I wish to be here also. But in their absence, I get the honor and privilege of being able to promote this young man. Now, there's hardly anyone sitting in this room that's connected with the military, either wearing the uniform itself or a part of an Army family, that knows that as you go through your Army career, there are people that touch your life and your Army life that have a very special impact on that. And the young man and young woman standing to my left this morning are that way with me. Ed and Gwen joined the 7th Infantry Division to in a very, very key and crucial role, and a very key and crucial role in the life of that division as it became the 1st Light Infantry Division, and also in the life in my Army life. And I won't recount that great 2.5 years I had being Commanding General of the 7th Infantry Division, but it was a hectic time. It was a fun time. It was a stressful time. It was a hard-working time. It was a field time. It was a very professionally rewarding time when it was all over with. So Ed and I have gone through some very, very hectic times. In addition to putting the division together and everything, the requirements on me personally to, at that time, were very, very severe and going throughout the United States and representing the Army and representing the division as we put the Army's 1st Light Infantry Division together. And I'm not exaggerating at all when I say that it's questionable whether I would have been able to represent the Army and the 7th Infantry Division near as well as I did, and through nothing on my own, but because of the tremendous support that I got personally from this young man in helping to prepare me to go out and do these things. Many years ago, I heard a statement, a quote that truly represents what he did for me during those very crucial times as we put that division together and tried to proliferate what we were doing throughout the United States Army. And it's attributed to some guy named Robert Hooke, who I never heard of before. You know, he could be a bandit for all I know. But he made a very meaningful statement one time. Well, it wasn't by him. I take it back. It was from a letter to this guy. It was really a quote by Sir Isaac Newton. And Newton is reported to have said in this letter to Robert Hooke that, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." And as you all know, I'm prone to exaggeration, but truly, I mean that when I say that I could not have done my job, however well that was, without Ed and several other fine young men who I was very, very privileged to have under my command at that time. And as I said, because of all that he did for me and for the division, and ultimately for the Army, I am very, very happy to be here today and partake in this ceremony. Now, Ed has got a long and distinguished career, about that long. I got promoted 2 lieutenant colonels this morning, and I'm struck by the fact of just how short their careers and how few places they've served when they're getting promoted. The lieutenant colonel is there. Now, when I got promoted, but Ed, as you all know, has been in the Ranger Battalion. He's served in Korea in the great 2nd Infantry Division over there. Said he served in the 7th Infantry Division. He's got a very, very distinguished career. Ever since I've known him, he's impressed me as the kind of guy who is in a real hurry. He's in a real hurry to do the right things. He's in such a hurry that 1 horse won't do. He's got 4. I had to snicker when I was looking at the little card they always give me, and they listed Ed's hobby as horses. Actually, horses are Gwen's hobby. The stable is Ed's hobby. That's his part of it. And I will have to say that in the time that Joe and I have known this couple, that as in my case, probably the best day's work he ever did was when he married up with this beautiful red-headed lady over there. And I think he understands that and recognizes that also. But as I said, Ed is a tremendous young man. You all have heard me say so many times before that when you get promoted in the Army today, certainly you have to do a good job, and it's your potential for future service that is recognized by your peers and your superiors that cause you to be standing here to get promoted. As I said, ever since I've known this young man, he's forward-thinking. I've never given him a job, and he hasn't come through in great form. He's smart. He also, many times when you find a smart Army officer, they don't have any feel for soldiers, but he's one of those very unique and few and far between officers that is a thinker, an intellectual, but also has the common touch with soldiers, and knows how to get his boots dirty, and likes to do that, and likes to be around. So I said he's a young man who I think is going to make a great contribution to our United States Army. I've known him only as a staff officer. Pretty soon he's going to have the opportunity to go down and command the 2nd Infantry and the 9th Infantry Division, and I know that he's going to do equally well there as a commander. Now, many of you know that I like to quote out of my little blue book, and today I'm going to quote a piece of poetry, and it might not be appropriate, but poetry affects everyone in a different way, and everyone has their own interpretation of poetry. And as I mentioned to you a few minutes ago, ever since I've known Ed, I've been convinced that this young man has a great deal to offer the Army. His only problem is sometimes you have to slow him down long enough to make sure that you get everything out of him. And there's a little poem that I'm very fond of, and the first part of it doesn't have a whole lot to do with Ed, but you have to read the whole poem to make the last part of it mean something. And it's not a funny poem. I like to joke, and he's kind of a funny guy. But if you'll bear with me just a minute, I think you'll all recognize this. But again, it says how I think about this young man and his potential for the United States Army better than I could ever say. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. You will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there's been some mistake. The only sound, the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lonely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. And this young man certainly has got miles to go before he's finished giving what he's got to offer the United States Army and to those soldiers and that unit that he's going down to command. So with that, would you please publish the orders?
Attention orders. Orders, Department of the Army, Washington, D.C., dated 13 January 1988. The President has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Edward E. Thurman. In view of these qualities and his demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, he is therefore promoted to Lieutenant Colonel with date of rank of 1 February 1988. By order of the Secretary of the Army, Carl E. Bono, General, United States Army, Chief of Staff.
Okay. Congratulations. Very, very proud. Now you can congratulate. You got to do it again. You got to do it again. Ah, very good. Okay. Now the floor is all yours.
I feel like I should be dead. I feel like some eulogize here. Sorry, I didn't know I was going to have to make spontaneous remarks, but all the it's a good day to be in the Army, and a good day to be in the Army at Fort. That's a little something Chip and I are working up for you. Probably a long speech there. No, seriously though, you know, a lot of people sitting in here. I know half of you guys are looking at the other half and wondering if I went down to rent a friend and brought him in here. I'll do that in a second. You know. I can do that. But first of all, I'd like to acknowledge General Harrison for taking time out of his calendar, Mrs. Harrison, Mrs. Greenway, and the others. And I'd like to introduce you to my in-laws, Colonel Retired and Mrs. Nesbitt, who come from Scrim to come down for the promotion. And so I'd like to personally thank you for letting me help you prepare your laudatory remarks about me today. Without my help, it couldn't have been anywhere near as good. I put a lot of work into that. Mother thanks you as well. General Harrison said it's been a long time. It really has been a long time. Promotion lists are pretty slow, but let me put a couple things in perspective. Pat and I were talking the other day. When we were promoted to major, General Harrison was a full colonel. Now, I've been a major while he became a brigadier. I've been a major while he got 2 stars, and I've been a major now while he got 3 stars. So, you know, sir, if you were thinking about giving us anything for getting promoted, your Christmas card mailing list would suffice. One of us got the system figure. But it really has been a long time. You know, you walk up and down the halls, and one of the queer things that's happened since I've come to I-Corps is people that are majors as well start saying sir, and they start saluting you. Yeah, you feel pretty good about that for a while until you realize it's out of respect for age and not out of respect for rank. I had a first sergeant in the Ranger Battalion, Bill and Jen Lazinski, where they came up to me one day and said, you know, sir, you got a head looks like it wore out 2 bodies. And so when you start getting that old, it's probably out of just kindness that the Army promotes you so that you don't feel embarrassed about how old you're getting to be. You know, so you go on. Here's one observation, though, I would like to make, and I think it's an important one, and it's appropriate for promotion sorts of things. In 1916, Major General Leonard Wood wrote a book. He had a captain of cavalry assistant in that. It's called Fundamentals of Military Service. And there's 2 sentences that I thought were pretty good. It said, in battle and in preparation for battle, there are but rare occasions for individual plays. Success may be attained only through the most unselfish playing of a team. And that's important for a promotion date, because promotions are not individual affairs. Rather, they're recognition that a team sometimes, someplace has done good things. And all of us have been in the same place I'm standing today, and I think we've agreed the first team you turn to is your family team. My wife, Gwen, my daughter, Brooke, and Jennifer, who have put up with, the short tours to Korea, the long hours, the, not coming home for dinner month after month, the things that we do as Army officers to get the job done. So, the first thing you need to recognize up front, I think, is your family. The second one, though, is a unit team. And there I'd say that, again, what promotion really means, at least to me, is not recognition of an officer, but recognition of the team that he's been allowed to be the captain of at some point that has done a pretty good job, or be the member of at a given point, and that team has done a pretty good job. And that really speaks to soldiers, and that's what we're really in the system all about. And so the team feels good when somebody gets promoted off that team. It doesn't matter if it's a leader, or the major, or the captain, or whatever, it's somebody gets promoted. And I was out watching a promotion ceremony this morning for Pat, and two things happened in that I thought were special, that really captured the essence of what it's all about and what the promotion is all about. First was when an E1 in the last rank of the last platoon got promoted to E2. And that E1, which is the lowest rank that you can have in the Army, got promoted by just about the highest rank that you can get promoted to in the Army. I mean, a 3-star general walked up to a PV1 and promoted him to PV2. You can imagine what his letter to mom's going to be tonight. That's pretty, and his eyeballs were about this way, about this big. It was just bewilderment and just overcome with what's going on. But what was more interesting was when Pat got promoted a few minutes later, and General Harrison made his remarks, you could see the smiles go all through the entire headquarters command, and it was not recognition of Pat as an individual, because he's really kind of a dirtbag. It was recognition of Pat, the captain of that team, and that's what we really probably ought to aspire to. And there was pride, and there was that smile. The officer's guide, I think, back in the 30s they had it, and they started dropping it out. They probably shouldn't have. They defined rank, and they defined it somewhat like rank is an honor bestowed to facilitate command. So that means the only reason we're given rank is so that we are allowed to go become a member of another team, and we all like to aspire to be the captain of that team if we can. And so that kind of is the bottom line for Gwen and I of the meaning of the promotion. Being a lieutenant colonel is nice. What is more meaningful to us is the opportunity to go back down this summer to the 9th Division and put together another ball team and have those guys around and be a part of soldiering and the soldiering profession on the line again. Sort of the last thing I'd say, and then I'll quit, since I didn't really have anything to say today anyway, was I want to show you that I haven't lost my sharpness, my ability to deal with problems, and that sort of thing, now that I'm a lieutenant colonel. Something hit me as I was making my remarks. My orders say I'm not really a lieutenant colonel until Monday. However, I'm more in the rank. Now, the Iron Major that's still under the skin here tells me that I'd be anything but short of doing my duty if I didn't stay here into the night per usual and just continue to work off into the dark. But the much more mature lieutenant colonel, the more senior field rank, who has to come to grips with dilemmas like that, realizes if I stayed here the rest of the day, I'd be out of uniform. So I've come to a quick consensus. So if you're trying to find me this afternoon, I'm gone.
You can't talk. We'll give you all a chance to come up and shake their hands and wish them well.
He's a tough one to wrestle with, General. He was a lot nicer to deal with the day I commissioned him, I can tell you that.
Oh, did you? Oh, how
Yeah,
nice.
Holy
That's right. Small bills. I know I can do this
Gotta love your school, man.
Just trying to go fall off into jail today.
Well spoken.
Congratulations to you too. Now,
Nice to meet you. Congratulations.
same You guys spent most of your time.
Hey, Gary, give my love to the family, will you? Oh, you're going to be by the house? Oh, great. Oh, okay. See you there.
No, you're supposed to say hello, Grandpa.
Good. Runs to protect the house. Congratulations, you're Mr. Colonel.
Thank you. It's all right. My dad wanted him in a wheelchair and he didn't make it, and so we told him we would tape the whole thing.
That's great. That's right.
That's right.